Okay, I'm going to show you what I do for the sticky dash issue on Toyotas and Lexuses. This is a Lexus IS300. I've had quite a few of these, and I race one. So, as you can see, I've already started kind of working over here. So I'm starting on the right, working my way left. Uh, Goal is to get these plastics cleaned up to where they are not rough. This was a used car that I bought, so the best way to protect from sticky dash is one, don't live in a hot climate or have like tent and shades and put those up religiously. Um, Still though, in hot sticky climates like Florida, even Southern California, etc., you're going to run into this a lot more. But I think for all four of them I've had, two of them definitely had sticky dash issue. So my recommendation on what I'm doing and what works for me that's a little bit different than the others I'm gonna walk through. So this is a black interior, and obviously the black interior also has gray interior. I'd highly suggest putting some like masking tape through here and create your line, because the stuff that comes up off of the dash you don't want to stain in here. I used a little bit of Resolve to clean mine up, but it still is not perfect, so that was a mistake I made. So just take the extra, 2 minutes to put some masking tape in place, and that's going to help you tremendously. So for the plastics, and this is pretty much the same for the texture on the dashboard. As you can see, this is probably one of the most brutal ones I've seen. And here's the cleaned up part. And then in the dashboard, you can see, the texture in there. It's kind of tough to get into. And then these tight corners. So I've done my first surface area here. And you got to kind of look and see what works for you. So number one for sure is Goo Gone. This stuff works better in the sun, but it's a cloudy, overcast day and I'm in the garage. So work small sections at a time. So maybe, from here to here, get Goo Gone with the microfiber cloth, wipe it in, and wait about 3, 4, 5 minutes. Just let it eat into the plastics and the dashboard, same for up here. And then what I use, you could probably use Purple Power. If you use Purple Power with water, dilute it like 4-to-1. I don't necessarily like the smell of Purple Power, and it's very aggressive degreaser. So what I use is a 50-50 mix of the citrus-based cleaners that you can pick up at Menards, Lowe's, Home Depot, big gallon of it. Dilute that 50-50. It just smells better and works just as well for what we're doing here today. So, and let me rephrase. Have 3 microfiber cloths. So the first microfiber cloth I use is to degrease. So I use that with the 50-50 citrus-based dilution. Then the other microfiber cloth I use for my Goo Gone to wipe it in and get in the nooks and crannies. And then I use another third microfiber cloth for kind of a final cleanup of the crap and filament and the plastics that are going to come up with the Scotch-Brite pad, which I'll get into that in a second. And so it's kind of a technique of Goo Gone, scrub, orange cleaner, scrub, wipe off, and then a lot of the times you may have to do a second application of Goo Gone, scrub, cleaner, scrub. So folks have been using green Scotch-Brite pads. I actually use a gray fine Scotch-Brite pad. The goal here is you don't want to take this plastic so far down that the integrity of the plastic gets messed up. You want to be able to either make a substrate that you can either, which I'm going to do, 3M Dynoc vinyl wrap. You can paint it by masking it off and painting it while it's still in there, or you can leave it be. So depending on how particular you are, I think that looks actually pretty good, but it's not to my liking. So I'm going to go further than that. But for this video, it's just kind of walking through that. So you'll have to work different sections of the Scotch-Brite pad. And so as the Goo Gone gets on there, so let's say 3 minutes into that, basically get out the old elbow grease, and then you're just really working in sections, just rubbing as best you can. And you can go both directions or one direction, but you can kind of see the process. So now the Goo Gone will dry or evaporate a little quicker And so now, instead of wiping that off, what I may do to keep going is my cleaner, light spray, grab the Scotch-Brite pad, and still really work small sections at a time. And this is the same for the dashboard area up there. It just takes longer because of all the texture is not smooth like the one down here. Okay, so you can see kind of how the plastic starts to build, like right there. You're gonna get hundreds of these little things. So then I wipe with my cleaner towel to kind of see what my progress is. Okay, so you can see in just this small section that we worked, which we'll still have to keep working, now the difference, see? And it's wet right here, but you can see kind of, okay, well, we need to concentrate on that area. So we'll spray it in there. Now, I already had goo going on this section that's been in there for probably a good 10 minutes, but I decided to make the video, so. Oh yeah, you can see where that's really showing. So we'll use a newer section of the pad. Lots of elbow. That kind of knocked the top part off, but it definitely didn't get to the rest of it. So yeah, just keep going. Then you can run your hands across it and see where it's smooth. And if you run into a bumpy area, that's a spot that you know you need to keep concentrating on. Like I said, around here is very difficult to get into. The paint on the plastic is coming up even with the gray fine pad. So, you know, be careful when you do it. If you think it's going to come out perfect, the age of the vehicle, etc., all plays into it. And then you don't want the black stuff that I was showing you getting onto your A-pillar. So mask around there, but I mean, you're going to have to get all the way in here, down in here, around here, through the buttons and the. But as you can see, for sure, it's gotta dry that off here. You can see the difference. Horrible. Not so bad. So we got all those areas to do. So take your time. It sucks. Good luck.